Welcome back to another episode of Heroes Honor. I'm your host, Donnell Miles, and this is your favorite podcast to listen to on lunch. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that notification, turn on that bell because we have guests come on every single week. Speaking of guests, today's guest is my battle buddy from Los Angeles, California. She has proudly served 15 years in the U.S. Army. She has deployed to Kuwait and did rotations in Korea and Poland. Her special duties and assignments include Battalion Master Driver, MRT, Equal Opportunity Leaders Course for battalion level, and drill sergeant. Please help me welcome Staff Sergeant Mallory to the show. What's going on, Battle?
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm excited to have you on the show. We've been talking about it for weeks. With you being from Cali, did you join the military from Cali?
No, I did not. I joined from Yuma, Arizona.
You were in Arizona. Okay. So what was going on during that time when you were making the decision to come into the military?
So originally, I didn't want to join the military at all, right? But I didn't have like any kind of like guidance because I felt pressured because I come from a medical family. All of them are like doctors, nurses, and me being the eldest from my parents like siblings, I had pressure that I had to uphold this the same thing, like be required to be in the medical field, but that's not something I feel like you should go to work being in love with what you do. And I was
Absolutely.
like, oh, I need something like to be on my feet. And I just decided to go to the army because I was forced into college for like a year,
Okay.
for just to so my parents could be like, maybe you don't know because you haven't gone to college for it. I took
Right.
biology and I was like, no,
I'm
this
done
ain't
with
for
this.
me. So
Right.
I was telling my mom, like I'm gonna join the military, and she was like, "No, you're not." And I said, "Mom," and she was like, "Why are you coming home so late?" And I was like, "I'm doing the Future Soldier program," and she was like, "No, you're not." And then I guess I went missing for like 2 weeks, and I told her I was like, I'm gonna go to basics
Okay.
like next week." When I called her, she's like, "Why are you calling me from South Carolina? Like I'm in basic." And then she's like, "Why?" I thought, and then I was like, "Mom, I gotta go." And then the drill sergeant was like, "Hang up." And then I was writing still, and I finally got a
Mhm.
letter. And that letter, I still have because basically what I took away from that letter was like, I know this isn't a decision that we support, but we love you and we're proud of you. And I have that letter framed. I was happy, so I think when I left basic training and my family saw that I was genuinely happy,
Yeah.
they supported me 100%. Like they have never once doubted anything in my, because I had basically told my parents like, when you guys raised me, you guys knew what you were
When
doing.
it came to AIT, did we do AIT together?
Mm-hmm.
I actually ran into. Do you remember the SGL that looked like Kevin Hart? He was short,
Yeah, yeah,
dark
yeah,
skin. I
yeah.
ran into him when I was stationed at Fort Hood. We were actually at, I think, JRT. No, we were at, excuse me, NTC. We're at NTC.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, you two people you don't forget. You don't forget them drill sergeants and you don't forget them AIT SGLs. I know they're drill sergeants now, but you just don't forget your drill sergeants at all. As soon as I seen him, I knew exactly who he was. I think at the time I seen him, he was a sergeant major. I walked up to it, got a picture, shook his hand, added him on Facebook. So have you seen any of your drill sergeants, any of your platoon sergeants since you've been in? Because the army is very small.
No, I think the thing that I think that like one of the things that meant the most to me was my drill sergeant in basic. So he would always tell me like, "Oh, soldier, you're not going to make it." He's from Jamaica or whatever. And I said, and then the day of graduation or the day like we went into Blue Phase and we got donned our berets, he was like, "Hey, I felt you were the kind of person that I had to doubt because you were gonna give me everything you had to prove me wrong."
Going back into what you said about everything being so full circle. So you were selected. Were you selected or did you volunteer to become a drill
I
sergeant?
volunteered.
Tell me about that.
So in basic, when I met like my drill sergeants, I was like, bro, like I thought to myself, these are people we'd have no idea who they are, where they're from, what they do, and we're trusting them to transform us into soldiers. And then it's crazy because like they're unforgettable. And I always believed in like my past life. Like I always thought like growing up, I always thought I'm meant to be on this earth to serve a purpose. I'm not sure what this purpose is, but I feel like there's something that I'm supposed to like be a part. I'm supposed to be a part of like the bigger picture, because when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a motivational speaker, but with my fear of public speaking, I said, yeah, this is not going to happen. And I became, when I met the drill sergeants, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm going to leave this army, knowing that I at least did this part.
Tell me about drill sergeant school.
Okay, so when I volunteered, I wasn't expecting to go right away. Like, I got picked up immediately to go to the academy. So like I went I went to the academy. I requested it in November. I left February.
That's fairly
Like their
quick.
like their first class like after the new year. So I said, dang, like, and I wasn't ready because I was going through some stuff. Like I had went into like some kind of like, I don't want to say like depression, but I'll fall into like this black hole of like sadness. And when I go to a school, I want to be mentally prepared to attend this school because this is a school I've always wanted to go to. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't care because I'm like, I need to come first. So I got to the academy and I said, you know what? Like, I don't even want to be here. And that's literally what my attitude was. And then I just told I remember my first sergeant telling me, he was like, I know who you are, and you're not gonna let yourself do that. He's like, you have too much heart to
Mm.
just let yourself go all the way to Fort Jackson just to drop the ball here. I remember having that in my mind, and I went through the academy, and I was thinking like every day, like, dang, like I'm old. Cause we were doing stuff in basic, like we were like if we were 19 and 20.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about you showing up to your unit. Where were you were stationed at Fort Jackson as a drill sergeant?
No, I was stationed actually at JBSA,
So what? How long is the basic training for the trainees there?
depending on the MOS. The way that they had it, I think they put like all the MOSs that range from 5 to 10 weeks in one, because all the other ones were like 6 months. It was like for nursing. It was definitely an experience because all the other drills were 68 series and I was not.
From a battle standpoint, from a drill sergeant to a drill sergeant standpoint, how was that?
Um. Okay, so going back, right? I did go to JBSA to be AIT, but I also did I started my drill sergeant time at Lackland, Texas. All the drill sergeants that were there were 11 Bravos, I think a 19 Delta, 19 Kilo. I think that's a tanker, and then the two support MOSs was one Alpha and one Yankee. When I
Nice.
went there, I was surrounded by the 11 series, right, as drill sergeants, and they were just like, big headed about everything. Like, oh, like I know how to do this. And when we had to do like soldiers' time training or whatever, it was like, oh, do you know how to do warrior task and battle drills? You probably don't. Like I didn't even get the opportunity to teach certain things because I was already counted out because I'm a support MOS. They took over like the teaching part, the teaching program part of the DLI because it was like they counted us out because they're like, oh, if you guys are gonna learn your job when you guys get to your units. You guys don't need to learn it here. And it's like you don't even know what I know in warrior task and battle drills. It was very like difficult to try to maneuver that, especially like I was still a sergeant E5. Everyone around me was staff sergeant, sergeant first class. Um, and I was just very like timid and I had just gotten there. I didn't go there with any battle buddies. So it was a lot at once when I arrived to my first unit.
It's like challenge after challenge after challenge. Being a
Yeah.
woman, being a certain MOS is it's like what I had to tell my battles around me. In basic training, we're teaching 10 level. If I, as a drill sergeant, don't know how to teach 10 level like the back of my hand, I should not be here. We're not going and teaching, what y'all teach as at a level Bravo on a 20 or 30 level. It's 10 level. And we have a soldier's manual of combat tasks, the SMCT book. So
Mm-hmm.
again, we're teaching from this book, we're teaching from the regulations and the manuals. We all should be very well equipped with our knowledge in teaching these tasks. Again, I do understand strengths and weaknesses, but the only way to make a weakness a strength is if you put that person in an uncomfortable situation. one thing you posted on your page was about the demotion. Looking back, what were the biggest lessons you learned from those moments? And if you could kind of give a little bit of context into those situations.
My first demotion was I had a soldier. I was a PFC, and I was working at the SSA, and a soldier and an NCO were talking to each other, and I'm just a bystander, just watching. And the NCO, I heard him say, "Why are you in my uniform if you don't speak English?" I just thought to myself, like, "Whoa, like, what the heck?" The NCO looks at me. He goes, "What?" And 9 times out of 10, a regular soldier would be like, "What? Nothing's hard, right?" I said, "I said you don't talk to nobody like that." He said, "Excuse me? What'd you say?" And then again, another regular soldier would have been like, "Never mind, nothing, right?" And I
Right.
said, "You don't treat people like that." And he's like, "If I'm talking to another soldier, it's not your business. Mind your business." I said like, "That's crazy. This soldier is not with his family. His family is in Puerto Rico. He's here alone." I was like, "You and there's nothing here in this on this base to support us. He might go home tonight, and this could be the 13 reasons why
Right.
we might not see the soldier tomorrow." He's like, "Well, if he does it, he just does it."
Wow.
And then the next day, we got formation, and the PSG was
Yeah.
like, if you see another NCO talking to a soldier, that's not your business to say anything. Just mind your business. And then I literally had said like, "Wow, that's effing crazy." She goes, "Who is that? Who said that?" And then the formation like parts ways, and you just see me, and I was
Stop.
like, "Me saw her," and she was like, "After this formation, you're gonna go to the company. I'm gonna write you up for disrespecting a non-commissioned officer."
I'm trying to navigate how I want to go about this because that is a pillar within itself, I feel like a lot of the resources within the military, they do tell you to see something, say something, but honestly, I feel like it's to see something, say something so we can stop it at the lowest level, not so
Yeah,
we can prevent it from happening. What about so you end up earning your rank back?
yeah, I did. I was specialist PFC. I made specialist again, and then back to
Okay.
PFC.
What happened the second time?
The second time was I had a Red Cross message from my father saying that he was going to have 72 hours to live. He's still alive, thank God. But my
That's
platoon
really
sergeant
good.
was like, "You can't go home."
Oh yeah, you ain't gotta say no more. You good, sis. Hey, you don't gotta say no more, battle. You gotta say no more. In those moments where you're dealing with that type of leadership, and I'm so sorry that you dealt with that. What are you thinking about the army as a whole?
I said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm so done." And
Yeah.
then I had an aha moment at the same time. And that my aha moment was someone's gonna stop it, and the one who's gonna stop is gonna be me.
If we turn our back on ourselves, we don't have the opportunity to help someone else. Because you could have went a different route with it. We've seen soldiers go a different route with it. But I always tell people, when you show up to a unit, or if you're in a unit and someone, you know how they you get in trouble at another unit, they move them to this unit, and everybody just like stay away from that person, stay away from that person.
Mm-hmm.
I never was that type of soldier, and I never was that type of leader, because something is going on that nobody has yet to discover. You can't
Exactly.
save everybody, but did you try? So what would you say to those who were in a situation that you were in, or for those who were in your situation, but it was way worse, sort of to say? What would you say to those trying to navigate whether they should stay in or get out, or whether they should face and rise that challenge? Or, what would you say?
So something that I want people to understand is we all are walking this earth with purpose. And when the moment you feel like you don't have purpose, you need to take that moment to dig deep within yourself and understand like who you are, what purpose you're trying to serve, and continue to serve that purpose. Because I really didn't know what my purpose was, and after having like that aha moment, I just told myself like the most something can happen to me is lose rank, right? Rare, but at the end, I can stand 10 toes deep, knowing that I saved another life or I provided an impact in another soldier's heart and mind. You know what I mean? Because I feel like not all leadership is bad leadership.
For those dealing with toxic leadership, what outlook should they have, as far as what outlooks should a soldier have if they are dealing with toxic leadership? What steps should they take?
So when it comes to like dealing with like toxic leadership, I personally feel like you should find one that you want to emulate, whether it be on social media, whether it's somebody that you follow on Facebook, whatever, or another unit, because they will show you what right looks like. It'll follow them. One time
Yes.
I remember asking an NC, I was like, "Hey, I was like, you good?" And then they were like, "Why? What's up?" And I was like, "Nothing. I just feel like you always check on me. I never get to check on you." He goes, "You need something, son?" I was like, "No, I just feel like you're always making sure we good. And I feel like it's our turn to make sure y'all good too."
Say Miles always say this, and I'm gonna say it again: a battle buddy is the first resource.
You know what they say? It gets more lonely at the
At the
top.
top. That's true. That's
Hmm.
true. I'm sad that happened. What would you say is the most impactful part of your career so far? You've been in for 15 years. What was that defining moment for you, outside of, the challenges that you talked about on the episode?
Being a drill sergeant. I was just sharing this with my friends today during lunch. I was telling them like I wanted to get out my first contract, but because I'm petty and someone didn't believe in me, I made sure that I did everything I could to make it past my first contract. And then I did my second
Mm.
contract. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get out because my squad leader at the time was like, you're never gonna make sergeant. Again, me being petty, I made sergeant. So I made sergeant.
Hey, just knocking them all down.
I was like, so I made sergeant, and I was like, you know what? I don't have enough time. If I ETS now, I don't have enough time to have my own soldiers. So I re-enlisted one more time. I get to JBLM, and I had my own soldiers, and I was like, dang, like this is what I wanted. And I was like, the cherry on top is if I became a drill sergeant, and then I became a drill sergeant.
What's the main message or lesson you hope people will take away from this?
Lead with your heart more than your head, because sometimes your heart will always lead you into the right place. And soldiers are the people who are replacing us, and if we treat them with the absolute utmost respect, we never have to demand it, and we're only creating a better future, not only for the United States Army, but for each other as human beings as we walk this earth. And if any of you guys need me, reach out. I'm here to mentor, I'm here to assist, I'm here to listen. And the biggest message I want to say is you're never alone and you are important.
Come on. I appreciate you for coming on the show, sis.
Of course, anytime, all
All
day.
right.